So I know what you're thinking. Dustin always thinks that Lexus is the best brand in the world. Well, recently there's been another brand that's caught my attention. Genesis. And I was on the highway the other day and saw the GV80 Coupe driving down the street, and I thought that is a car that I need to spend a video on to answer the question of GV80 Coupe versus RX 500h. I'm Dustin Mason from Performance Lexus in St. Catharines. Make sure you hit like and subscribe for more Lexus related content. And big shout out to Brian over at Genesis Niagara for lending us this beautiful GV80. So the GV80 and the RX 500 share a few things, but more or less a personality that I wanted to explore. Let's get started with the GV80. Now this one is the black edition, which gives it a few of the styling bits we have right now. In fact, the paint, I'm gonna have to compare the color code. It almost looks exactly like Caviar, which is a Lexus paint color. Lots of metallic flake. I love that it's trimmed off with other black accents. And I really like that although other brands are going with smaller grills right now, like we're kind of coming full circle, just like how fashion for humans comes full circle, car fashion comes full circle as well, where we have this massive front grille and it's all spindly, just like Lexus used to really lean into. It is piano black, sort of, with some like gray inserts. They did a much better job now of hiding sensors. Like we have that front-facing camera, it's obvious, but the radar cruise control sensor is kind of nicely decorated in. Genesis did not spare any expense. All of the materials, even on this bumper, even in the low bits, definitely are high material. I almost just got my finger stuck. Are high material, and I do think that they did a really good job there. If you compare that grille to the RX 500h, this is the prime example of a shrinking grille. It's a shrinking grille because it used to be that the F Sport RX had a grille that kind of went all the way to the top. And now they have this little nose piece that I know was a little confusing at first because the NX doesn't have it, but it's really grown on me. And I guess the design language here was to sort of future-proof it against EVs because the grille here is kind of similar to what EVs are. More spindly for sure, other than that support down the middle. Lexus emblem is where the radar cruise control is. We do have some vents down here that actually work, and a little bit of decoration and some venting on the sides with some low-mounted headlights. Sorry, puddle lamps, I guess you could say. Let me show you, though, the headlights on this Genesis, which are spectacular. So you can see our signal is very nicely appointed. It's super bright. I really like the quality of it. I'm gonna turn on the headlights. There is the daytime running lights. There is a little bit of diffusion there. You can see some texture to them as well. So you can see there is 2 rows of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 and 11, there are slightly different sizes, and actually when you get up close to them, different hues of these little squares, and that is the headlight design. It's not 2 big bulbs, it's a bunch of little bulbs trimmed off by the daytime running lights, which, let's see if it works for me, is also the signal lights. So those daytime running lights, if we shut this down and maybe do a couple locks here, are also the signals. So really sharp, it's diffused light, there is some texture to those daytime running lights. I like the headlight design because it reminds me a little bit of timeless. It's not screaming overly modern, and it's classy. I think that is what's catching my eye with Genesis on the street these days, is how classy it looks. It's almost going after like that Bentley vibe. We got the Genesis logo at the top here. It is flush. There's some texture there. Oh, and also there is a couple angulars here that make that front grille a little bit more aggressive. Same with the RX. I know this one is white and it's not pearl white, so you can sometimes the body lines get washed out. But look, lots of overhang there. It is very much sporty. It's like a body kit. Great body lines. We also have, I will say, almost a slightly sharper daytime running light. It's totally frosted. So all you see is that eye of the Lexus marquee. Above it is the signal. Kind of cool. Nice thing about the signal here is it's like a textured, it's like catching the light from behind for the signal. So it's like 3-dimensional. There's some texture on the top, and of course, our classic headlight washers. The RX 500h in this package has the triple beam headlight setup, which I do really, really like. Now, cool thing about this triple beam headlight setup is it is adaptive, variable, and all of the other adjectives that describes headlight systems that instead of just turning on and off for high beams, it actually just shuts down where the obstacle is. So if you imagine you have your high beams on and there's a car coming towards you, it stays on everywhere except for like maybe that little left section in the corner. So I really like the headlights on the RX. I've never had anybody say anything but how bright they are. And that is a pretty good trick for anybody car shopping, because a lot of times people do car shopping during the day and you don't get a chance to see headlights. Well, the RX and the Genesis both have really bright and beautiful headlights. So side profile of the GV80, and boy, let me tell you, I love a coupe SUV. I remember I used to be so confused when Mercedes was doing like the GLC coupe, because I was like, it's an SUV, how could it be a coupe? I really like the styling. Starting with the wheels, this black edition has this really unique wheel setup. It is unlike any wheel that I've ever seen with Lexus. It's asymmetrical. There's some wide bits. There's some cross hatching going on. We got a brake underneath it with a Genesis logo, which is always great. It looks like a multi-piece rotor too. And actually, you can actually see a decent amount of the suspension components underneath. It's gloss black. This is a cool feature. So on the side, it's a design feature. You have that fender. This is like very JDM. Any of my JDM Supra owners in the comments would like this, where they have the signal on the fender. I always do like that. Never seen that in the wild, but when this car got pulled in, I noticed it. And instead of like, you know how many brands have like plastic vents and stuff like that? Yo, let's put a light there. That's what I really like to see. Look at the size. So I'm 6'1". You can tell this is, just slightly shorter than me. It is a big SUV. Pulling it into the showroom, I was like, dang, this is huge. Doors, super solid. Normal door handle, no fuss there. Everything is black. Also, isn't it nice that cars now don't have roof racks all the time? It does have the ability to add roof racks. I can see a little trap door there. However, it's kind of sleek. I like the sleekness of this coupe. Back door, even though it says coupe, is giant. It's still really good size, really good weight to it. It opens all the way. And then we just have this quarter bit here. I do like the little visor here. It kind of reminds me of the Lexus RZ because it's actually split in two, but we'll go through that in the back. And by the way, speaking of heavy doors, these have soft close. So you can kind of just gently push it in and it'll suck itself in. So side profile of the RX, let's start with the wheel and tire setup. So the 500s all have like a satin finish wheel. This is a little dirty right now, so just ignore it. It is a satin finish wheel and a humongous 6-piston brake setup beneath it. I think on the other F-Sport RXs, it's kind of unnecessary. On the 500, it's usable. We have a unique F-Sport logo on the fender. It's a very small fender compared to the Genesis. That's just for the F-Sport Performance, which this is. We have blacked out accents because F-Sport 3, so sporty. So with the white with the black. We have our electronic e-latch. So if you're new to this channel, if you're new to Lexus, the way these door handles work is there's just a little pad that I'm pressing on the back. That is an electronic button that allows me to open up the door. From the outside, the benefit is you don't have a moving handle. So this whole thing is kind of solid, and that's kind of nice. And then when you're on the inside to get out, you just sort of press on the same version on the inside, and in one motion you can get out. So you don't have to pull a handle, use your elbow, twist your leg, whatever. It's all very easy. Size-wise, you can see it is slightly lower than the GV80. I'm a little bit taller than it, but backseat wise, still huge. In fact, the RX has one of the biggest back seats I find for being a tall guy. One of my favorite design language is the way that this window kind of swoops. And by the way, I don't know if you noticed, on this car, all the chrome is also blacked out. So very similar to the Genesis in the fact that the chrome along the windows, the roof rails, everything is all sort of smoked, including that little back glass there. All right, the rear, classic taillight test. So we can see our signal kind of going there, very similar to the front. Our taillight is above and beyond that. There actually is a lot of dimension here. That rear spoiler, is it a spoiler? I guess it's a spoiler. It's like a visor with the cutout for, I guess, aerodynamic. Kind of interesting. I can't tell if I love it or if I would have just wished it was straight through. This is a really interesting angle here. It's like a huge shelf. It's like that big if you're watching. My hand can fit over it. Genesis, all blacked out. And then down here, I'm super proud of this. Really, really, really great job, Genesis. Genesis. This is a quad exhaust, so 4 exhausts, obviously not all the way from the front, but it is a real exhaust with a real opening. The reason I'm excited about that is so many brands don't have that now. So really good job, Genesis. There must be a way to open this from here. It might be here, but I'm just gonna, oh yeah, right here it is. There's a button right there where you just kind of press on the, it's kind of weird. You press on the camera. So I don't know if I did that right, but huge space back here. I could see myself eating an ice cream cone with my golden doodle at my side, and it's kind of like a usable utility. There also are some buttons that I can fold down that seat from just right here. I'm just gonna do the right side. It's slow. Now this is a test because so many brands, it hits the front seat. This one goes all the way down, look at that. Bam, love that, really great job. 60, 40, 30 split. You can split it up however you want. Really good space. Similar to the RX, it does have, you know, little angle there, so you can't go full height all the time. Oops, didn't mean to do that, but there's some storage there. I wanted to see underneath this fake floor. It's always a big test for me. We got the battery, some kits. Whoa, good job, Genesis. Look at how they pack their tire mobility kit. That's leather. I think that's always a good touch for brands. Lexus does the same with their medic kits. So that goes right in there. There is a tonneau cover stored underneath. I always like usable storage, as well as a netting. This is a brand new car, so no one has opened it yet. And there's a little box full of all the manuals. So really well organized back here. And it's nice just having it a blank slate to be able to show it. There is a 12-volt outlet, I see. So overall, very, very usable space. Oh, let's see if it comes back up. Some cars, you can only go down. The Genesis comes back up. That's nice. Good job, Genesis. Ooh, and there's a little light there. That looks good. It's frosted, it's diluted. That way no one runs into you when you're in your trunk. Now the taillight on the RX is one of my favorites. I think it does such a good job of catching your attention. So you can see it goes from one end to the other. It underlines Lexus. I think it's very sharp for this back end. We got RX 500 Direct 4 in the corner there. Direct 4 is the all-wheel drive system for the RX 500H. It's unique to the RX 500H. It's very high tech. Essentially the computer will change the balance from the front wheels, even 90% and 10% on the rear, and vice versa, and everything in between. So very, very smart system there for all that power. We got some black spindle accents at the bottom there. No exhausts, which makes me very sad. I think Genesis looks really great with those exhausts. I know in earlier videos, I liked that Lexus hid the exhaust because it was a little future-proofing so that your car didn't look like it had fossil fuels coming out the rear bumper because of the EV and hybrid sort of transition. However, I miss exhaust pipes. Lexus, bring back the exhaust pipes. I really like that on the Genesis. One thing that the Genesis doesn't have is a rear wiper. So underneath here on the Lexus, there is a wiper that comes down and hides back up. So really cool for winters. No more snow buildup. Space-wise, not too much of a difference. I could still be sitting here with my golden doodle. Is it a little bit shorter? I think so. You can still fold those rear seats though with 2 buttons. Here we also have a few other accents back here. One of them is you can hook your groceries on a little hook that's in here. So if you have your grocery bags, instead of just putting it down, there's a hook. So you can kind of keep them all closed so that your Wonder Bread isn't flying around the back seat. I haven't said that in a while. We also have these little Lexus leather bags full of our manuals. We have our cargo net here. We get to this red trimmed carpet, which is really nice. Same with the mats. You get summers and winters with Lexus. We also have a 12-volt battery back here. 12-volt battery, 12-volt plug, and our tonneau cover. And then underneath here, I'm just gonna show you very quickly. So we're gonna undo this. Oh, and by the way, I said 12-volt. There is a 12-volt back here, 12-volt outlet, but also there's more. I love lifestyle incorporation. There's also a wall plug back here that can do 120 volts, 1500 watts. Really good for power tools or your pump for your wakeboard, your paddleboard, a cooler, anything you want to use it for, you have a wall outlet there. So you don't have to worry about, oh, I forgot my car adapter. You can just use that. Underneath here, ooh, black handle, all blacked out. We have a full-size spare tire. So no run flats, no tire repair kit, a full-size jack and tire. Someone in the comments the other day said, oh, the RX doesn't have a spare. It does, I just showed it to you. A little bit less space, but still very usable. It's a great height. Very, very much a fan of this. It doesn't have the red light though. Genesis, point for you for that red light. I think that's really cool. Okay, so in the Genesis, I have to say, first impressions of this interior is really good. I used to say that other than Lexus, the other interior that I was a big fan of was Mercedes. I think Genesis is really catching up to them, if not surpassing them. Sorry to my performance Mercedes friends in St. Catharines. The seats, lots of substance to them. There's the diamond stitching. Armrest is a little cheaper though, I will say that. The leather on the seats feels good. This one is trimmed out very black. So let's start on the left. We have open pore wood. Very cool, modern take on interior design. We're seeing that in the Lexus lineup as well. Most of the materials on this door, like we have some soft leathers here. This is kind of just like a hard injected plastic. Oh, I should mention, Bang & Olufsen sound system. So sick. Love a Bang & Olufsen sound system. I think that's great. The wood continues up here into the front of the dash. We have a few buttons on the left here. So just some ambient lighting, or sorry, some dimming, park, you know, stuff like that. The switches here have a nice texture and feel to it. Nothing too crazy for the secondary switches, but the main switches. It lights up on the actual switch housing, and the grip is really nice. We have a driver monitor system, I can see that there. Physical buttons on the steering wheel. Ooh, I'm wondering. And it's got the wheel for volume, which is a big deal. I loved that in the Porsche that I did a video on. You can roll down this, which is nice. Paddle shifters. I'm seeing a Mercedes here because it has this little soft touch button. I see that this is how you navigate through the screen. And then we have some physical buttons also for the cruise control, and we can go to some different layers here. It is interesting having the single screen all the way across. Let me know in the comments, do you like this trend in automotive right now where you have an infinite screen from one side to the other, where like your gauge cluster and your multimedia screen are one? I don't know if I love it. I used to like when like the screens were like tucked in the dash. It's very sharp and it's very usable. I don't know, let me know in the comments what you think. Steering wheel is really small and a little oblong, but very comfy. Again, the materials aren't blowing my mind like they were with the seats, but they're nice. I mean, I'm not gonna complain about them. I will say my favorite thing about the car when I pulled it into the showroom was the shifter. Really nice, it's all clear, it's backlit, it's like a Swarovski thing, kind of reminds me of. And by the way, with all these cars being shift by wire now, I know sometimes I like a physical shifter. This is so easy, it's like boop, you just want to pull it to your driveway, boop, you just twist that. I did get confused though because the button, or sorry, the switch, the control for the actual screen is right above the shifter, and it's the same shape and feel. So imagine your tuning knob is the same shape and feel as your shifter. It's very easy to think you're zooming in on a map and then accidentally put it in reverse. I think that's funny. I still don't know, and I should have done on my last Genesis video. I didn't know what this was either. I don't know what this little guy is here. Sometimes my videographer knows more about cars than I do. So as soon as we stopped recording, he told me this is a biometric scanner for your finger. It's for your settings and things like that. It's like on the iPhone when it reads your face. That's what this is. So I knew it was something. I just couldn't remember what it was. We have some buttons above, also a lit up cup holder. We have different drive modes. I heard the Sport Plus in this car is just epic. So that's kind of cool. And you could go terrain mode. We have snow, we have mud, we have sand. And we have Eco, Comfort, Sport, and Sport Plus, and then Custom. So that's kind of cool, making sure it's in park because I was pressing all these buttons. In here, we have our, oh, that's cool. So we have our wireless charger and some USB plugs. It's always like when you can tuck away your phone when a car has a place for a phone. It's amazing. That car is designed 15 years ago. No one would have thought that you need a place for your phone. They would have thought it goes in your pocket. But anyway, it does. Interesting setup here for the armrest. So as I mentioned, I'm underwhelmed by the armrest material. I think if it was the same leather as the seat, I would have really enjoyed that. Nice little shelf here. At first I thought this is all it is just this little shelf. And then I realized, oh, you can remove it and then you have this bigger cavity. Everything's felt lined, which is really nice. You can open, I guess you could technically open one side and keep the other side down. Climate has its own screen, so that's kind of cool. Heated and cooled seats. We have massaging seats, by the way. I tried to turn them on. There we go. I'm on comfortable stretch driver's seat, pelvis, waist, whole body. So it's got massaging seats. I'm always a big fan of cars with massaging seats. I like this little screen here. I think that's great. It shows you your climate. There is a fragrance kind of looking button. I wonder, it's beeping at me. Maybe we don't have any fragrance in this right now, but it looks like it's there. Heated steering wheel, AC, all showing up there as well. Maybe the AC has to be off. Can't figure it out. But anyway, all soft touch, kind of cool. We have a volume knob and then some shortcuts to some radio stuff, our signals, etc. The actual using of the screen, pretty easy. I mean, cars are so good now. CarPlay, Android Auto, all the apps, notifications, the manuals on there. Ooh, what's quiet mode? Quiet mode, media will only play in the front seats. Oh, this is a cool feature Genesis thought of. In quiet mode, the media will only play in the front seats, and audio volume for the rear seats, or for the front seats, are set too. So this is great. If you're listening to a podcast and your small children are asleep in the back, you can activate quiet mode, and that's kind of cool. Otherwise, I was looking for, mood curator. This is cool. So you can display an energizing atmosphere with colorful lights and music with a fast beat. We're gonna try it out right now. So we're gonna hit start. Dustin in high school would have loved this. I spent so much time in my car just chilling. That Bang & Olufsen system's good. Yeah, this is a new trend cars are coming out with. Mercedes does the same thing. I don't know the point of it, but it's cool. I like it. Otherwise, I was hoping that this was gonna be more soft. It's kind of like a small fiber. It's not quite as soft as Alcantara. I do see an acoustic microphone here. You know what? It's actually pretty good. I changed my mind. It's a pretty good material up here. Of course, we have the camera that can switch. We have some map lights. Oh, sunglass holder, yes. And by the way, this is a nice material here as well. But that's enough of the front. Let's check out the rear and see what it's like for rear passengers. All right, back at the GV80. It's a coupe, but you know what? With how much product I have in my hair today, I'm only just grazing the roof. So like, if I sit up straight, and you know what? I probably wouldn't sit up straight because this seat reclines and it moves forward and back. So actually, when you recline it, if you move forward, you get a little more. This would be up a little bit further, but overall, it's not too bad back here for a coupe, don't forget. Materials on the door, nothing special to write home about. We do see Bang & Olufsen. We do see wood grain. We do see a visor, which I like to see. Ooh, and I think that's for, I don't know what that's for, a coat hanger maybe? Back here we have heated seats. We have our own climate control, which is great. We have a wall plug, 115 volts, 150 watts, so not as crazy as the 1500 watts in the RX. We have a really hefty armrest. I'm gonna fix this real quick with some cup holders. And of course, a little bit of storage here. It's always a great place to put like snacks. Also, it's cool. You can move the seat in front of the passenger, like from the back, like the executive VIP Lexuses do. We also have some vents right in the center console here. Love that. A little bit of ambient lighting, some nice stitched material. Overall, really good. Good back seat. Okay, so now in the RX 500, we do have a little bit more layers to this interior. For instance, we have ultra suede trimmed on the door and the seats, and I like it. This has got the red seats, so having it kind of trimmed on there in red and then on the door in black is cool. I will say the seats in the RX 500h are the sport seat, so it's hugging me in place a lot more than the Genesis was. The Genesis had much bigger seats. These ones have like keep you in place kind of seats. But the materials on the Lexus are always top notch for the segment. We have, you know, some red trim here, the door panel, all that is very heavy. We got some piano black going on, and then some more modern sort of silver metallic looking things. In terms of the steering wheel, so this one has what's called innovative, intelligent, whatever, buttons for the steering wheel. So because it's got a heads-up display, which the Genesis did too, by the way, but on this one, it's customizable. So the steering wheel buttons you can customize to see what you want to see. I did a whole video on it. If you have one of these and you want to learn about that, go watch my other video, but there is a pretty cool, once you get used to it, it's pretty cool. Steering wheel has the F Sport logo and is F Sport-like, meaning a little bit of grippy perforated leather on the steering wheel. And it is kind of smaller, like the grip is smaller. I really like the back of it, how it's got like a little indentation there. The switches on the side, this is something that Lexus, it's like the only shortcut Lexus makes. There isn't any special tactile to it. Like the Genesis had like a nice grip to it and it had like some lights. This is like the same stock that has been in Lexus forever. It works. They've never decided to R&D it, that's fine, I get it. But the Genesis did put a little more into that. However, I love the dashboard on the RX. I think it is really great. It is all digital, yes, but it's sunken in and almost has a dimension to it, like our classic gauge clusters of the 2000s and 2010s and 2020s almost. So you can customize it, you can change your display, same with your heads-up display. You can see everything from fuel economy to range to, you know, G-forces, whatever you want to see. It even has an EV driving ratio where it'll give you a score on how well you're being efficient, even though it's a high performance vehicle. So that's kind of cool. But I do like that it's separate from the screen. Now the screen is really great. Lexus interface has come a long way from previous generations. I always like on the hybrids that you can see things like energy flow. I like that because it shows where the power is coming and going and blah, blah, blah. This screen works really well. It's big. It is, you know, not sunken in like previous generations. It is a little bit taller than the Genesis. It doesn't have that infinity part, but that's okay. Climate control built in right to the bottom of it. Front and rear defrost are physical buttons underneath, and there's a volume knob. We always like to see that. I also have a button that'll park the car. So a really quick button where you can auto park. It does work really good. I just tried it the other day with one of my new hires, and she was pretty amazed with how quickly it did it. We also have bird's eye view. They both have bird's eye view. You can override it and turn it on there. 2 USB-C ports and a little spot to put your phone and a spot to hide your phone if you want, where you can wireless charge it down here. And it is, by the way, not a lot of people know this little cavity down here is actually cooled. So if you crank the AC, some of it goes into that little spot down there and helps cool it off. So that's kind of nice. The shifter is still shift by wire, but it's quick. You just go over and up or over and forward or whatever, park. So it's kind of like a normal shifter that you're used to, but shift by wire. We do also have some train modes, or one train mode, and it kind of does all the thinking for you. Really nice three-dimensional looking trim here. This is supposed to be similar to like when we used to have real brushed aluminum in the inside, but due to materials and lightweightness, we want to put those in. I always forget to mention this. The cup holders on the RX are the only ones that you can actually push down. So if you had a venti instead of a tall, you could actually push it all the way on that front one or raise it up, which is kind of cool. Speaking of raising up, we have our armrest that can be opened from either side. And I always find the RX has a really big center console that's like really nice to lean on. And also a really nice three-dimensional dash. There is an extra panel in there that also has the ultra suede and is backlit. So that's kind of cool. Again, just adds to the ambience in here of the layered and angled sort of layout. It's amazing because I used to say that like Lexus had the simplest interiors, and now comparing it to the Genesis, there's actually a lot going on in here versus the Genesis, so that's kind of fun. And then same thing, we have our electronic mirror. We have not Alcantara. I wish this was Alcantara, but it is like a soft velvet feeling. Sunglass holder, just like the Genesis as well. Let's check out the back seat. Okay, back seat of the RX, and I did forget to mention, Lexus has Mark Levinson sound system. So we're the only brand, car brand, that does Mark Levinson. You see Bang & Olufsen in a lot of cars, but you don't see Mark Levinson in a lot of cars. If you don't know what Mark Levinson is, do some Google searching. Yes, it's owned by some of the other same brands as Mark Levinson. However, it is really cool because it didn't start as like a speaker company. It's actually more of an audio processing company, meaning it's the clearest sound processed that you could hear. In fact, an amplifier for your home is almost as much as a Lexus. So that's how expensive Mark Levinson can be. Anyway, back seat. We have lots of space back here. We got Alcantara on the door panels. We still got the E-latch back here. The 500H removes the visor. I don't know why. Maybe because it's like a high performance car. But even these seats, Alcantara, ultra suede. We love that. We have heated and cooled seats back here. All physical analog buttons. No screen, but we do have climate control just on a little screen there. USB-C, great size. It is power, so we can recline, similar to the Genesis. Not quite as far perhaps, but I do feel less claustrophobic back here because the angle. Or maybe I'm just used to the RX, I don't know. Maybe I'm biased. Really nice armrest. We got cup holders. We got storage space here. And also, it just makes for like a comfy sitting when you're in the back. So RX, I'm a big fan of riding in the back. I never get car sick in it. I love that these are cooled seats. That's rare. It does not have massaging seats, but it's got cooled seats in the back. So that's a toss up. Okay, I know by this point in the video, you're saying, Dustin, let's talk about powertrain. So on the Genesis, we have a 3.5 liter V6 turbo-charged engine boasting 406 horsepower, something like that, just over 400, and 405 or 6 torque, because it has a mild hybrid E-supercharger, meaning that hybrid system isn't necessarily driving the wheels, however, it is driving the engine to have some more power. On the other hand, the RX 500H does have less horsepower. It's like 360 and change, but the same torque. So think of that, depending if you are a horsepower person or a torque person, they're both the same. And this is out of a 4-cylinder turbo high performance hybrid with direct 4, don't forget. So depending on, maybe your driving style, you might find these more comparative than that first horsepower number competes. And by the way, yes, because this is a true high-performance hybrid system, the RX does have much better fuel economy. I think it's like at least 7 miles per gallon. I'd have to do the conversion for liters per 100, but it is better. So that begs the question, which car is for which buyer? Now, I will say, super, super impressed with a very many things on the GV80. I love that old money interior. I like the comfort in it. I really like that back styling of the coupe design, and I think that's really cool. I love even more the sportiness of the RX 500 F Sport. I love the way it feels going down the road. I love the get up and go. I love the fact that you don't have to sacrifice fuel economy for a fun, high torque car to drive. And the seats with the Alcantara is just out of this world. Price difference, there is a bit of a jump. I'll list the pricing of both somewhere here because the Genesis, the way this one is spec'd at least, is more than the RX 500h. But let me know in the comments below, what would you choose? The Genesis GV80 Coupe Black Edition or the Lexus RX 500h F Performance 3? I'm Dustin Mason from Performance Lexus in St. Catharines. Make sure if you're interested in a Genesis, go check out Genesis Niagara, who lent us this beautiful GV80 today. And if you're interested in a Lexus, come see me at Performance Lexus in St. Catharines.